Hello everyone, welcome back to another week in IO Psychology. This week we're going to be taking a look at Chapter 7, which looks at the topic of groups and teams. One note before you get into the chapter too far is if you look on page 206 and 207, last paragraph on page 206 leading into page 207, one of the first topics that the authors look at is there a difference between the terms groups and teams? Now, at the end of their little discussion, they just make a statement that for the purposes of the chapter, they're going to use the two terms interchangeably, and so I will as well when I'm talking about it. But I do want to make a point that in terms of my practice of consulting and working in HR, out in organizations, I do make a very distinct difference between groups and teams. And if you look on that last paragraph on 206, you'll see they do talk about a potential difference in the literature of how you can differentiate between the two. And I think it's an important difference in that more often than not, when I've been called in as a consultant or even as an HR manager working internally in an organization, when I've been called in to work or to assist teams that are dysfunctional and they're not getting the results they need and they seem to have to be mired down a lot of problems, one of the things I often find is going by those definitions, they're not really true teams. They're actually just groups of individuals. So if you look at those definitions and just in your mind, think about the two of them. Think about how a collection of individuals might work differently if they were working as a group versus as a team based on those discussions on 206, 207. And if you can have that straight in your head, then just sort of for the purposes of what's on the exam and what do I need to know that way, you can put those two terms aside and think of them as one, which is what I'm going to do now. So that's my little piece on why I think there should be two different terms. Your text talks about them interchangeably, and so I'm going to go on that way. It's a great chapter though, guys. It talks about, for example, how teams develop. You can take everything in this chapter and apply it directly to any group or team that you're working in. Whether it's at your job, whether it's a project group at the university, they all go through, as an example, the stages that your text talks about. And a lot of times if you find that as you're getting into, say, a group project and things aren't going that smoothly, you may be able to go back and say, all right, well, let me look at these 4 stages. You know what? We didn't spend enough time on the first stage. We kind of jumped right into the third stage, as a matter of fact, when I look at the theory and I look at this model. And by knowing that, you can pull people back and say, let's talk about this first for a little bit. I don't think we were clear on it. And being able to do that can make your team a lot more effective in what they're trying to get done. Your text goes into some other things around challenges with groups. A great thing when you look at these topics, again, if you want to try to apply it out to the real world, is things like groupthink. If you know what it is and you know the potential impact on a team, simply by knowing that and watching for it, you can effectively eliminate groupthink from a group that you're in. All right, so spend some time, make sure you understand some of those different challenges like groupthink. And then it gets into a few other things around team performance, processes, how you can improve team performance, and so on. And again, these are all things that I've been able to actually take out of the text, out of the theory, and apply with real groups that I've gone in and consulted with. So I can tell you firsthand, this is stuff that's not just, blah, I'll never use it. Well, you may never use it, but if you're going into HR or any kind of practice like that, there are definite opportunities. And again, as I said, even if you're working on project groups within the university, there's things here that can help you get more out of it and have the whole experience not quite be so frustrating. So hopefully you enjoy the chapter and you can draw some of those parallels. I'd invite you, if you do, to just send me a quick email. Let me know what you saw or what you think, and I'll post it up on the course so that other people can see it as well. Or perhaps we'll open up a group discussion specifically to what parallels could you draw out to the real world. Anyway, again, guys, as always, hope you're enjoying the class. If you've got any questions, drop myself or the TA a note, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Enjoy your week.